With all due respect to your mom, she was both right and wrong about your phone use. It's not the smartphone, as a mere object, that's ruining your life. It's you. Or, rather, it is our collective, often unexamined, relationship with it. We forget that a tool is not merely its current function, but a mirror reflecting our own intentions, weaknesses, and aspirations. If you use a hammer to hit a nail and keep smashing your finger, you can make adjustments. The hammer itself holds no malice. The responsibility for mastery, or for injury, lies with the user. This is the existential weight of all technology. It extends our grasp but demands our wisdom. You could also use a hammer to dig shallow holes, or split wood with the claw, or even as a sculptural object. Each tool holds a universe of possibilities. Your smartphone, now widely maligned as a vessel for brain rot, is no different. It doesn't have to be a relentless engine of anxiety, a conduit for envy, or a black hole for your attention. Used with intention, it can be a library, a university, a connector of distant souls, and a powerful instrument for learning and creativity. The smartphone can potentially strengthen your mind. It can help us manage anxiety, learn in novel ways, and pursue our deepest aspirations. But the question looms, a shadow over our glowing screens. Is productive, mindful phone use even possible on a mass scale? Or is the very architecture of the modern digital experience designed to subvert our best intentions? Perhaps the nature of the device, intertwined with the business models that fuel it, is fundamentally corrosive to human flourishing. To find a way forward, we must return to the beginning, to a time when our feelings toward this new device were not yet tainted by addiction and regret. Think back to the initial promise of the smartphone. What did you imagine it doing for you? Back in 1994, the IBM Simon Personal Communicator appeared, a chunky, ambitious device that was technically the first smartphone. It sold only about 50,000 units, hampered by its $1, 100 price tag, and 1-hour battery life. It was a novelty. The first truly popular smartphone was the BlackBerry, launched in 1999. It became a status symbol, its main appeal being mobile email and the addictive BBM messaging system. Yet, it was primarily a tool for communication and productivity. The anxieties we associate with smartphones were still a decade away. The inflection point was the release of the first iPhone in 2007, followed by the first Android phone in 2008. This was a time of genuine excitement. We held a device that was a phone, an iPod, and an internet communicator all in one. The App Store, launched in 2008, unleashed a wave of creative potential. In its first year, users downloaded over 1 billion apps. The early promise was one of liberation. Google Maps freed us from the anxiety of getting lost. Email was untethered from the desk. Life became more flexible, more convenient. But in 2008, another app launched, Facebook. This marked the beginning of the end of our innocence. An unguarded population, thrilled by convenience, embraced social media, mobile games, and an endless stream of novel applications. We failed to see the business model shifting beneath our feet. We were no longer the customers. We were the product. Our attention became the currency in a burgeoning new market, the attention economy. Today, the average person touches their phone over 600 times a day. Studies show that a significant portion of users check their phones within 5 minutes of waking up. This isn't an accident, it's a design feature. Algorithms, refined by trillions of data points, are engineered to exploit our brain's reward system. The infinite scroll and the pull-to-refresh mechanism mimic the variable rewards of a slot machine, triggering dopamine hits that keep us coming back. We are now in a place where most are profoundly dissatisfied with how smartphones have changed their lives. Political discourse has devolved into a shouting match. We feel more insecure while performing our lives for a digital audience. A 2019 study in The Lancet found that for adolescent girls, greater time spent on social media was associated with a higher risk of depression. Our smartphones are the ever-present gateway to this reality. We can barely think, barely tolerate a moment of boredom without reaching for a digital pacifier. It's one thing to suggest a digital detox, But for most, that's not a viable option. Our social and professional lives are too deeply intertwined with these devices. So how do we escape this nightmare without unplugging completely? Medical professionals have long warned about screen time, especially for the developing brain. Excessive screen time in children is linked to language delays, reduced concentration, and even a measurable reduction in the gray matter of the frontal lobe, the brain's command center for planning, impulse control, and prioritization. For adults, the consequences are less about development and more about degradation. A study from the University of California, Irvine, found that after just 20 minutes of interruption from notifications, people reported significantly higher stress levels. The constant context switching fragments our attention, making deep, focused work nearly impossible. The obvious conclusion is that the screen itself is not the problem. It's what we do with it. Reading a long-form article is not the same as scrolling through TikTok. The philosopher Marshall McLuhan famously said, "The medium is the message." He meant that the technology itself, regardless of its content, shapes our patterns of thought and social organization. The smartphone medium encourages speed over depth, reaction over reflection. To fight this, we must become more conscious consumers of the content it delivers. A 2021 study from universities in China and Finland confirmed this intuition. It found that while apps for social media, gaming, and entertainment reading increased nomophobia, the fear of being without your phone, and worsened academic performance, the use of learning and news apps actually improved it. This points to a crucial distinction. Are we using the phone as a tool for consumption or as a tool for creation and learning? We must evaluate our phone use based on motivations and outcomes. Author Saqib Nawaz proposed a framework. Effectual use is deliberate and productive. Ineffectual use is compulsive and unproductive. And problematic use is that which produces negative outcomes like anxiety and sleep disturbance. What keeps you up at night? Is it scrolling on Instagram, seeing curated highlight reels that make your own life feel inadequate? That's problematic use. We don't always know where our anxiety comes from, but mindlessly scrolling a feed, an endless stream of emotional triggers, is a safe bet. You see a headline about a distant tragedy, followed by a friend's vacation photo, followed by a political outrage. You put the phone down, your mind a cocktail of anger, envy, and despair. You didn't choose to feel this way. The algorithm chose for you. To reclaim agency, we must be intentional. Turn off non-essential notifications. Curate your home screen to prioritize tools over triggers. Use apps that help you, not apps that use you. In some ways, technology has shown us the path. Streaming services moved us from the passive consumption of cable TV to the active choice of what to watch. We can apply the same principle to our phones. Don't just open an app out of habit. Ask yourself, what do I want to accomplish? And now, a new tool has arrived: artificial intelligence. Like the smartphone, it promises to save us time and unlock our potential. It can also erode our critical thinking, eliminate jobs, and blur the line between reality and artifice. Google's AI overviews summarize search results. Meta's AI summarizes conversations. These are uses that are subtly inserted into our routines, often without our full awareness, nudging us away from primary sources and towards a synthesized, potentially biased reality. The ethical considerations are profound. A recent Coca-Cola commercial was generated almost entirely by AI. Is it wrong to replace creative jobs to save money? What about the environmental cost? Google has admitted that its energy consumption has soared due to the demands of AI data centers. But beyond these, we must consider the human cost. What does it mean when the content in our social feeds, the images, the text, and even the comments are AI generated? We risk creating a social facsimile, a world where we are no longer connecting with other humans, but with sophisticated puppets, eroding the very foundation of social media. Writing is where we learn to think. It's how we form a substantive argument. When students use AI to write their papers, they are not just cheating. They are outsourcing the entire process of critical thought. This is not a good use of the tool. However, Using AI to compile meeting notes or summarize a dense technical document can free up our minds for more creative pursuits. The distinction, once again, is about intention. Are we using AI to augment our intelligence or to replace it? Technology is seductive. It feels as if it has a will of its own, as if we have no choice. But the reality is that these are still tools. We have control over how we use them. The problem is not the phone. The problem is not AI. The problem is our unwillingness to engage with these tools consciously, to set boundaries, and to decide what kind of life we want to live. The hammer doesn't swing itself. It's you. Take advantage of that fact.